Turning around chronically low-performing schools. This was a study done by Herman, Rebecca, Priscilla Dawson, D. Thomas, J. Green, Rebecca Maynard, Sam Redding, and Marlene Darwin. And the study came from the National Center of Education Evaluation and Regional Assistance. And this peer review is being done by Tamayra Watson. The summary of the article. The guide identified practices in order to improve schools. The guide reviewed the practices that low-performing schools use to turn around their schools. Following the practices improve performance at the failing schools. The practices are change leadership, improve instruction, provide visible improvements, and build a committed staff. What is a turnaround school? A turnaround school is one of 4 strategies that is used in education today. In previous attempts to make gains in student achievement, the government supported schools with finances, but the achievement gaps continued to increase instead of decreasing. In America, there are several models used to decrease schools' achievement, with Race to the Top model and school improvement grants. There are 3 other strategies that schools may use, but they use them at the last resorts. One strategy is the restart strategy, the transformation strategy, and school closure. The turnaround rationale. In Georgia, there are currently 127 failing schools. There are 60 failing schools in the Atlanta Public School District. There are 3 in the Cobb County School District. There are 18 in DeKalb County Schools. There are 12 in Fulton County Schools. And there is 1 in the Gwinnett County School System. If the government came in and wanted to use the school closure method instead of the turnaround method, in the Atlanta school system, there will be 60 schools that will be closed due to that strategy being used. Where will all of those students who attend those schools get their education? The rationale for using this model? Since there has been federal and state performance measures set for schools to meet, our educational system is failing on many levels when it comes to educating our students in the nation, and this came from a report by Shearer and Raschenberg in 2012. These 2 people wrote on the Georgia's Governor's Office of Student Achievement, and they conducted a report that stated schools have failed to provide students with just basic education for years. Turnarounds is the strategy used to fix failing schools. The first component of a turnaround school is the change in leadership. You change the leader and you change the direction in which the school is going into. The leadership will be responsible for changing the current problems in the school. Even though the task may be overwhelming, the leader must be willing to take on responsibility and change the existing patterns and behaviors that the school knows. The leader will look forward at the goals that must be reached, and the leader must be proactive and be able to embrace new ideas. The instruction must change. The instruction must follow the curriculum frameworks. It must be intensive in order to reach the students to make academic gains. The students are already low So it has to be intensive in order to help them make gains that are needed. The instruction must allow for exemplary teachers to model for the staff in order to have everyone on one accord. Many times we have many teachers who teach different ways, and we need the results of the teachers who are making gains with the students. All materials needed must be purchased in order for teachers to teach with fidelity. We can't have expectations for teachers to actually teach a curriculum and all of the information is not given to them, or all the tools are not given to them in order to teach with fidelity. This task will already be a hard one, and allowing teachers to be prepared will make the implementation successful. We have to show improvements. Many times in failing schools, attendance is bad. Attendance is actually linked to how well schools do. Grades are an indicator of how schools do. Students come to school to learn, and teachers give out grades. The pass rate and the retention rates are also an indicator of improvements. We have to increase the number of students who are passing instead of increasing our rates of retention rates. We have to have student-centered climates where students feel as though they're safe and they're coming to school to learn. Many times teachers take on jobs and some fail to actually complete out their contract for the entire year, bringing in substitutes or bringing in another teacher mid-year. Some students feel as though teachers won't stay with them. So if students feel that the teacher is there for them, the climax will be different because they will actually try to learn. Everyone has to feel that they're safe in order to thrive. If everyone is on edge about their safety, there won't be anyone who actually feel comfortable about being in the environment. Teacher collaboration is very important also. Many times there are meetings that are held, and teachers, when we collaborate, we talk about everything except for the agenda at hand. So teacher collaboration has to be meaningful. And also the community has to be involved. Many times in the school is like the center focus of the community. But the community doesn't feel involved or feel that the schoolhouse actually lets them know what's going on. One example of this is at the school that I currently work at, we have classes for parents who would like to actually earn their GED. They come to the school and they're able to actually study for the test, and the school district is paying for their tests. If parents need to come in and actually use the internet, use computers, they actually can come into the school and actually use the computers. They have help in the parent resource room where they can actually type their resume up in order to help them get jobs. And this way, when the parents and the community are happy and involved in the school, they actually help the teachers with their students in order to see different results. You have to build a committed staff. The main goal of education seems to be to help students to think critically and be smart, like Albert Einstein. We also would like for our students to be ethical and show empathy, like Martin Luther King. Teachers at turnaround schools should have a commitment to the school. That commitment is actually showing that I understand where I'm coming at, and I know the school is a low performing school, but I am taking on the charge to be an educator in this building, and I'm going to be committed to the task at hand. Teachers should have pedagogy skills. If teachers have pedagogy skills, no matter what takes place with changes in the curriculum, changes in the school building, and even changes in the students, you can't take away the pedagogy skills that a teacher has. And the teacher should be a part of an interviewing pool, and after that process, be selected like new teachers. Just like the leadership would change, and the leadership will be a different principal coming in fresh, the teacher should be a part of an interviewing pool where they come in and then they have a clear mindset of the students and the building in order to be successful. Atlanta Public Schools is one of the districts here in Atlanta that has 60 failing schools. They have created guidelines in order to turn around their schools. They will do this by improving direct means of instruction. They want to increase their engagement at school. They're going to help low-performing schools make significant progress within the next 18 months. They're going to increase equity in the system. They're going to include family, communities, and staffs as partners. And this is very important because all stakeholders are involved. They'll be sensitive to the differences in communities and schools. They're going to offer balanced and proven strategies and solutions. And they're determined and be determined and implement based on open and transparent processes. And then they'll include an improvement plan that is sustained, sufficiently resourced, and highly qualified. Strong students, strong schools, strong staff, strong system. The Atlanta Public's turnaround schools will be preparing students for success, which requires a different educational experience than it did even a generation ago. And this quote comes from the new report highlights. I thank you for listening and viewing the information on turnaround schools.